So we have this to share with you all afterwards. And we are really excited to bring this back, right? Our goal here is to really help you with your career search. And a big part of that in this modern day is through LinkedIn, right? How you're using your social network as both a research tool and then also a tool to network and have the tool work for you. Let me see it, right? We have a request for captions. Let me add that before I keep going. Asha, do you see that anywhere from your side?
I don't see it on my end. Let me stop sharing and then maybe we'll see it.
I see 1 second. I see closed captions. All right. I don't know if
it might not be available.
Will work. Yeah, I'm sorry if we're not able to do that. It's possible that when we upload the video to YouTube, that we'll be able to include the captions there. So just be on the lookout for that if you are looking for that specific feature. And I apologize for not having it on at the moment. Asha, if you want to share the screen again.
Sure. Okay.
Perfect. So yeah, we are back with round 2. And before we head into the event, we did want to let you know a little bit about Resmrkt. So I am Gabby Zilkha. I am the COO of Resmrkt. And we are here with Asha, who is one of our Resmrkt advisors. And to tell you a little bit more about the company and the brand, you can head to the next slide. We are a marketplace of career development champions. So people like Asha, people with intense industry experience, people who understand and have worked with resumes before, who have been hiring managers or recruiters, who know what job seekers need in order to land that dream job. And we have that as a marketplace. So you're able to look at the different advisors that we offer, find one that works for you in your price range, in the industry that you're interested in, and select the services that feel right for you. Each of our sessions are 45-minute video calls, and you get a finalized deliverable at the end and advice and coaching. We offer a few different types of services. So we offer career pathing, which is more on the career discovery side, right? Helping you make that decision, make that first move. We offer a resume review service, cover letter support, interview prep, and LinkedIn revisions, which is especially relevant for today. Going to do the next slide. And in order for you to be able to explore, you can type in resmrkt.com, and I'll drop the link here in the chat as well, so you all can follow that. And you can explore the different advisors that we have, search by those industries, and to check out, you just select the service you want, add it to your cart, and then you can continue on with the service. So if you want to book a session with Asha or one of our other many advisors, you would be able to do that. And before we get started, Asha, I think people would like to know too, what can they expect in a Resmrkt session?
So typically, even before the session starts, I spend an hour going through your background and based on what I can find online on LinkedIn and anything else that I can, dig up in an internet search. And I also spend a little time using the intake form that Resmrkt has, understanding the skills that you want to develop, the roles that you want to pursue, the companies that you're interested in, so that I get a better sense of how you can get from A to B. So we have a very productive conversation. And then I typically, if it's the resume review or a LinkedIn review or a career pathing session, those are the 3 that I specialize in, we'll ask you to tell me about your background. I just want to hear if what you're telling me and what you're proud of talking about is actually represented in your resume and your LinkedIn. And a lot of times I find people miss things because we're so close to the documents that we forget to include the really important things that made us happy in those roles. So I enjoyed that. We go through my feedback. I've got a couple checklists that I use, so it's very structured. I share those checklists with you after the session as well, so you can go back through and make the updates. And if we have time, a lot of people with me tend to book a second session, because we'll actually go through and actually start to edit those bullets on the resume, or the information that's going on LinkedIn, and we just spend time crafting the words that make sense, and to make sure that other readers can understand where this person wants to go.
Absolutely. And sometimes it just really helps to have a person to talk through these things with, right? You're just so used to them that it's great to have a fresh perspective, and for people to pull out the nuggets, like the things
Yeah.
that you're passionate about that maybe aren't represented on
Exactly.
either
And you
place.
mentioned like having that experience of being a hiring manager, you just know like the things that you look for. And so when you're like, well, this job description says X and you don't have it represented on your resume, you need to add it so they understand that you're qualified for the role.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, Asha. And for everyone listening, you're welcome to book a session with Asha or any of our advisors. And you can go to resmrkt.com to check that out.
Great.
Perfect. And just to summarize here, our mission here is to really change the way the world finds work. Our goal is to make these services accessible. That's why we have our prices at a price point that is lower than market value. We work with our advisors to make sure that accessibility is a primary focus for this. So if you need any support, right, our goal here is to really like our little zebra mascot, like help you learn how to show off your stripes, because you've already done the hard work of earning them. Right. And we've got a special promotion. How exciting. We are giving away, we're not giving away, but we are doing a discount for the first 5 people to use this code. So if you type in "making LinkedIn work for you" at checkout, you can also follow the link that I'm posting in the chat, and it'll all that automatically apply it. But keep in mind, only for the first 5 people to use the code, and it works with any of our advisors. So feel free to check it out, explore a little bit, but beware, time is of the essence. We'll post it again at the end, and it'll also be listed in our survey.
What if it's gone by the end, Gabby?
It's true. We don't know. Is it a risk you're willing to take? No, that's a good question, Asha. Amazing. But yeah, without further ado, I'm so happy to introduce you all to Asha. We know her as a Resmrkt advisor and vice president at Sprinkler, but she also has added author to her titles. And Asha's book about career development focuses on how we can use our transferable skills to find our career success. And she's here to share these real life examples to help you articulate your transferable skills on LinkedIn and any other of the profiles that you're looking at to help you land your next job.
Awesome. Thank you, Gabby. I'm so excited to be here with you and the Resmrkt team and everyone that's joining from these different groups. It's amazing seeing like people from different countries and different regions of the US with us tonight. So our goal today is to help you to elevate your LinkedIn presence, and this will help you as you're transitioning into a new role, maybe in your own company or in another company, or if you're starting a venture. And everything that we're talking about today is based on concepts from my book, which is called Skills, the Common Denominator. This QR code will take you to the Amazon page where it's available in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover formats. I'm working on the audiobook. It should be out this summer.
That's awesome.
And so in my research for the book, I found that the common denominator of everyone was their skills. Hard skills, life skills, soft skills, job skills. It was all skills that took them from one role to the next. And I summed that up as transferable skills, skills that you gain in one context and you use them in another. And so with the real life stories that I share in the book, and there are 25 people's stories that I cover, you're able to identify your own transferable skills and then use that to articulate them to others, both in person and online, like on LinkedIn. And so just give you a sense, I talk to people of different ages, races, genders, demographics, different parts of the world, different walks of life. And I bucketed their stories into where they've ended up at the time where I published the book. And that was community development, entrepreneurship, marketing, and technology. But where they started may have been accounting, we're in a rock band, doing PhD studies, working as an engineer. So very varied career paths. They all had an average of 6 career pivots each. So there are a lot of reference points for you as the reader to see yourself in their shoes and where you want to go. The second half of the book is called Skills to Advance Your Career. And I'm going to take you through that in the next few slides to show you how you talk about your personal brand, how you represent that on digital tools, and then finally, how you use networking to get where you want to go. And so your personal brand is your reputation. It's your calling card. It helps demonstrate your value to others. It shows that you have experience and credibility. It can turn you into a leader in your field. And so also know that your personal brand changes over time and that you can rebrand. I mentioned already, your personal brand can be shared in a number of ways: online or in person with a pitch, online through LinkedIn, or in person through events. And so the elevator pitch is a key component of the personal brand. And we all think that, we can walk into a room and just introduce ourselves and the pitch is super easy, right? To summarize our experience and our goals. But we've all stumbled over our pitches. I know I have. And so a good elevator pitch requires preparation and practice. So we're going to do that right now. I want all of you to think about your superpowers. Transferable skills are sometimes called superpowers, and each one of us has one or two or three that we use in our day-to-day activities. One of mine is focus. I want you to think about yours and throw it in the chat. Let's take a look at what people's superpowers are. So there's mine.
Asha, do you have any suggestions if people are not sure what their superpower is, how they can figure it out? Maybe asking people in their network.
Absolutely. I think just asking anyone, what am I good at, or what stands out to you, right? When you think of me, what do you think of, right? Or questions that can help you understand what your superpowers are, what your transferable skills are. And see, we're getting a bunch here. I love this: organized, collaboration, adaptability, passion, sharing knowledge with others. These are amazing skills. Hyper focus, right? That's an amazing one. So you guys have very good superpowers, and these are all transferable skills that will help you as you're changing your career. So now I mentioned the pitch. When you're building your pitch, you want to keep three things in mind. You want to think about the time, the most relevant details about you that's tailored for the person that you're speaking with, and your goal in the interaction. I'm giving you permission to use 30 seconds in your pitch. And that's a lot of time to relay information about yourself. And I'm presenting two options here on the screen. The first one on the left side, you say who you are, what you want to do, and you want to answer the question for the other person: how may I help you? Right? So that they understand, okay, I'm taking in this information about you. What can I do with it? If you're in sales, recruiting, or teaching, the version on the right side may be more appropriate, where you say who you are, why they should listen to you, and to answer why should I trust you. So think about these two versions. And on the next slide, I'm going to have an exercise here of where I want you to take 2 minutes to write down your elevator pitch. And if you're selected to speak when we do the LinkedIn profile review, I'm going to ask you for your elevator pitch. So you better be ready. And what you can do is that once you write it down, save that text to your desktop, and then you can cut and paste it into the Zoom chats. So the next time somebody says, tell me where you're from, you're like, actually, I'm going to share my elevator pitch with you. And I bet you'll get a better response. And as an example, I have mine here. Hi, I'm Asha. I published my first book on career development. I'm focused on selling 100 books this month. If you were me, how would you do that? So I tied in that superpower of focus into my elevator pitch. So when I deliver it, it sounds more authentic. All right. And that version that I just read, that pitch was 9 seconds. So you can see 30 seconds is a long time to relay information about yourselves. I know I said we're going to take 2 minutes to do this. I'm actually going to keep going so that we can get to more reviews in a little bit. So next up are digital tools. LinkedIn is singularly the most important tool that you have to represent your personal brand. And if you go and search for yourself, just in a regular Google search, just type in your first and last name, I bet your LinkedIn profile is the first or second search result. And the other items on the page are your other social media profiles. And they're probably just in different orders for each of us, right? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And the reason they're in different orders is because we put different amounts of content on those pages. So you can really control how these search results appear on that first page by the amount of content that you're putting out. So this particular chapter in the book, it covers LinkedIn. It covers a tool called Job Scan, which helps you determine the keywords in a job description so you can put them into your resume and beat those pesky ATS systems that filter us out when we apply for jobs. And then the third tool is called Placement, which is a tracker where you can track your status as you're applying to jobs. Are you just the application status, or have you interviewed, or are you waiting for an offer? And then the bonus chapter is actually focused on the LinkedIn profile, the top 5 sections that you need to have completed, which is what we're going to go into next and really dig into together. So let me start there. First impressions of a LinkedIn profile. As you can see here, you have to have a color photo for your headshot, and a color photo will result when you show up in search results 21 times more likely to get clicked on. And those are really good odds. So you definitely want to have a color photo there. This background photo can also be customized, and it doesn't need to be anything fancy. It could be, a picture of a landscape, a picture of maybe something you worked on, a picture of you speaking at an event, but something that just, shows off your personality. The other thing about the photo, make sure it's less than 3 years old. If you need to take a new photo, just go outside into nature, get some trees in the background, and snap a shot on your phone and upload it. That's better than nothing. All right, next up is the headline. The headline's 220 characters. They keep changing it. And this defaults to be your current title and company name, which is boring. That already appears in the experience section of the page. So instead, you can customize it and make it like a little elevator pitch that shows off your personality. If you're job searching, I recommend that you write actively seeking blah, 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 whatever that role is or whatever that industry is. So it's very clear what your next steps are. If this location field can be updated if you're moving. And so you want this to be where you're going to live so that you'll come up in searches by recruiters in that area. So that's a great tip if you're in relocation mode. And then the other thing I want to point out is the LinkedIn page has a URL. And LinkedIn, typically puts your first name, your last name, and then a bunch of letters and numbers. You can actually customize that URL to remove those letters and numbers at the end. So it's just your first name, last name. Or if you have a common first name, last name, you can play with it to make it unique. And then you can put that link into your email signature on your business card. It just makes it a lot easier to remember it. The next section that's really important is the About section. And so the About section appears right under the section we just looked at. And you want to be able to write in this section a little bit more about yourself in a narrative format. You can use first person I here. Some people use third person, which I think is strange because it's very much your profile and you're talking about yourself. And you can write here what you've done in the past that you really liked working on and where you want to go. I think especially if you're in a job search mode, it's really important to have that where you want to go, that future looking self represented here. And then here, so use the pencil to edit this. And then in the featured section, right underneath it, you can have media. And this media can be articles, videos, press releases. You can also upload pictures and images if you have them, and then you can caption them. And that way people can see oh, look, here's an article that I was in, or here's a press release of a project that I worked on that shows the range of what I did. And so there's so many options you can put here to show off your work. And now next up is the experience section. And you want to be able to utilize all the fields in the experience section, including media and awards, which is actually a different section that you connect back to it, to highlight your accomplishments. And you want to use common terms. And I think this is really important because everywhere we work, there are acronyms, right? It's like an alphabet soup, and it gets really easy to rely on the acronyms that we have when people may not understand what they mean. So for example, human capital management, I put HCM next to it because some people may know HCM, but if they don't, I wrote it out here. ROI is a more popular acronym, so that's why I left it in versus writing it out. These details that you have written here, they need to match your resume. Know that hiring managers, recruiters, like me, when we get resumes, the first thing we do is go look at LinkedIn to make sure that it matches up. So that's really important. The other thing I want to point out here is when you type in the company name, the logo will appear. Sometimes if you worked for a company that maybe changed names or has rebranded, it may not show up. And so I think it's really important to make sure that the logo shows up. And in case this company goes through some type of M&A activity, maybe you're in legal or financial services, then this name will be updated to the new company's name and you'll be in the new company's network. Okay. You can also, there's also a little slider on the right side that helps you drag and reorder the experiences if you need to do that. Maybe you're volunteering in some place and you have that listed here also. You just make sure that your full-time opportunity appears at the top. And when you're thinking about your resume compared to LinkedIn, your resume has to follow the strict, like, one page for every 5 years of experience, versus the LinkedIn, it doesn't matter how much information you have on there. Nobody minds scrolling up and down. And the other thing that LinkedIn has to help you is an add a profile section wizard. And so this will take you through all the different sections on the page. And if you just want to focus on the top 5 that I think are the most important, it's the about, the work experience, education, volunteer experience, and accomplishments. You can have those out. I think that really shows that you have really robust profile and that you're really qualified to join that company. What's an easy way to get started on LinkedIn? It's by going through that pile of business cards, and I'm looking at mine on my desk here. I'm guilty of this as well. You can see this through the screen here, but make sure you put those people on LinkedIn and connect with them, 24 hours after meeting them on an event. I just went to an event last week and that's what I did. I added those contacts and I've got to throw out those cards. If you need the mobile phone numbers from the business cards, make sure you write those down or save those to your phone before you throw away the card, because there's no way to store that information on LinkedIn. To grow your network, you're going to go to the connect button on the LinkedIn desktop version. This is important because when you do it that way, you're able to personalize the connection request that you're sent out. If you just click connect, it sends a generic connection request, but you want to take that extra step to personalize it so that person remembers how they met you and they're more willing to follow up if you have an ask. Okay. And again, try to do this within 24 hours of meeting someone. On the mobile device, it's an extra step. When you click connect, you have to click, there's 3 dots there, and then click personalize invite to personalize it, but it's possible too. It's just an extra step. Another great feature of LinkedIn are LinkedIn groups. And so the secret trick about a LinkedIn group is when you're in the group, you can message other people in the group for free. So I think all of us have probably run into those people we wanted to message, but they were in our 2nd or 3rd or 4th degree networks and we couldn't reach them. And LinkedIn says you need to send it, buy a premium package to send an in-mail. You don't want to do that. You can join a group and see if that person's in the group, and then you can message them for free. There is a limit of 15 messages a month. So choose wisely how many people you're messaging in the group. And this could be good if you are searching for jobs. I know the last time we did this, we had people that were interested in BI and private equity. You can search for groups that have, that are free to join, like these 2 examples I have here on the screen, and ask people for informational interviews to learn about their roles or their companies, or maybe their career paths into those roles through the messaging feature in the groups. So I think this is a brilliant way to research and to grow your network using LinkedIn. Similarly, if you attended college and you are able to list your college on your LinkedIn profile, you can leverage the school page for that college to find people who went to school with you. And so in these 2 examples, you click on the alumni tab and you see there's like 61,000 people that went to this school in Cupertino, and actually 1/3 of them live outside of San Francisco. And so if you've moved out of the area, this could be a good way to connect with people who also moved but attended that university and and have them be part of your network. In this example with Northwestern, I actually looked at, okay, they had 172,000 alumni on LinkedIn. These are people who've put Northwestern in their profile, but 8,000 of these alumni studied business, which means they were actually in the Kellogg School of Business at Northwestern. And so I'm able to find people who not only went to Northwestern and studied business on this page, but I could go to the Kellogg Business School page and also find more people there. So just a couple examples of how to leverage school pages. And we'll do that in the LinkedIn profile reviews. Take a look at some of your school pages to see if we can find people in the industries you're looking for. All right, so here, this is an exercise, but if we'll do this together. If you navigate to your school page on LinkedIn, you could filter it to alumni that live in your city. Search for alumni that live in your city, then enter a keyword, right? Maybe what they're doing or a title. And then you'll see there's, it's maybe this started with 100 and then you're down to 50. And then you can filter down to, who are these people that are your 1st degree connections? And maybe you have like a dozen. You'll be surprised how many people have, changed industries and careers maybe since the time you graduated. and it'll be a pleasant surprise because you'll be able to connect with them and learn what they're up to. So the final chapter in the book is on business networking. And we've talked, networking takes work. It's really difficult. You have to practice. It's just like the elevator pitch. And so I have 8 proven techniques to help you grow your professional network. And it ranges to coming to events like today with speakers, whether that's in person or online, doing volunteering or adult internships to help you expand your skill set and also show the organization what you're capable of. And that could lead to informational chats and referrals. So it is kind of like a little feedback loop there. You can also do things like create your own podcast or communities to network with people who are like-minded. And so with the book, I highly recommend, if you decide to purchase it, the QR code again will take you to the Amazon page. Start with the conclusion chapter. It lists all the 42 skills that are covered in the book that I think are needed in today's market. You can then jump to the chapter before, which is guide to your LinkedIn profile, go through that step-by-step on those 5 sections. And I have examples of myself and what I've done in those 5 sections and other people that I've interviewed also. So you have a couple of proof points there. And if you like today's presentation and you like what you read in the book, I would love an Amazon book review because that helps more people discover the book. All right, Gabby, I got us to the interactive section a little quicker than I probably wanted to.
It is all good. We have 4 people that are on queue for us. So if anyone else is interested, we do still have some open spots. So please do send me a message. But we will start by calling Barbara up to the stage. So Barbara, I'm going to allow you to talk. So you're going to be moved up. And then you'll be able to share your LinkedIn and what you're looking for with Asha.
And while Barbara's coming up, I'm just going to open up the profiles.
And Coyle, if I'm saying your name right, you'll be next up. So I'm also going to promote you to be a panelist. And don't worry, you don't have to put on your video, but just
okay.
Awesome. There we go. Nice.
All right, Barbara, you first have to tell us the city that you're from and then tell me your elevator pitch.
Okay. So it's Canandaigua, New York.
Canandaigua. All right. That is a new one.
Right. Right. Oh, my picture's not coming up. Well, I have an avatar, I think, and that's why it's not coming
Actually, it's not coming up because we're 3rd degree connections.
Oh, that's why. Okay,
that's
then.
why.
Okay.
And so, I mean, but one, if it's an avatar, you should change it. So you know that now.
Right. Okay.
But this is good because this is actually a really good example because we're not connected. I can't see your picture, but I see your name. Sometimes it won't show me your name. It may just show me your first name, but I can see your full headline. And so what I did on my profile is I will pull it up here on this last screen, is in my headline, I actually put my Twitter handle, which is the same as my Instagram handle. So if you wanted to verify, like, oh, is Asha, like, let me go check one of these social media handles and double check. And you're like, okay, that's the one I want to talk to. Because Barbara J. Smith may be fairly common, I imagine.
It is. It is very common.
And so something like that could help differentiate you. Okay, so you per diem local medical practice office. So this is where you work.
I'm not working at this time, but I have a job interview tomorrow. So fingers crossed, right?
So Barbara, tell me about yourself. Tell me that elevator pitch.
Okay, so I am a graduate of the Rochester Educational Opportunities Center, where I earned my medical secretary certificate in the spring of 2021. I am looking to advance my skills and further study medical coding. And I'm trying to find employment at the local hospital or medical office practice so that I can become familiar with what it's like to work in that type of environment.
Excellent. So you told me.
Sorry, I tripped. Yeah.
No, that was fine. You actually, to me, you didn't trip at all. I know it sounds like to you, you did. I know, because it's very nerve-wracking. That's why the networking takes work, right? But what I could use help with is the type of role. that does medical coding.
Okay.
So if you could slip that in there, then I think you have a solid pitch, right?
Okay. I'm not a certified coder yet.
Okay, but you want to
but,
be.
right. I do.
Coder in training.
That's it.
That's it. So maybe that's in your headline, right?
Okay, I'll put it there. Yep.
Medical coder in training,
Right.
looking for, hospital setting to work in, something like that.
There we go. Thank you.
Right? There you go.
Yeah.
And that's your headline. And that tells people exactly where you want to be, right?
Okay.
Okay, cool. So I'm actually going to bounce down to your education section because I noticed that the things are out of order, and I bet you probably don't want it that way. So you have the medical secretary certificate first.
Right.
You have medical coding certificate next, then Seton Hall. Then you have another medical coding certificate that's more recent.
No.
That should
There's only one.
There's only one. Okay.
There's only BOCES 2 Center for Workforce Development.
Okay.
That one, the one at the bottom is the one I want. Yep.
Okay, so you want to move this up. And so when you go in here is you can click that little pencil that'll appear for you next to education. And there'll be like these little 3 bars that appear over here. And you just want to pull that and drag it up to the top.
Oh, great.
Okay. So that's super easy to do. But yeah, I figured you probably wanted that one at the top. Okay.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And this is great that you have the courses and everything that you took, because that'll help with the search, right? If somebody types in, medical scheduling, boom, you'll come up in that search.
Right.
All right.
That's what I thought that would help in search. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And then now looking here at your experience, no, this is fine. And this is totally, but you have plenty of detail, and that's exactly what you want. Right.
Right.
And so you are, like you said, you want to build that coding experience, which you don't have yet.
Right. Okay. Exactly. Yeah.
9 months. This one's really long because you were there for 9 years.
Right.
Okay. I'd still, even though you were there for 9 years, I would still shorten this.
Okay.
So maybe, so these are like 3, 8, 5, 5. So if you have 5, like just do 5 for each.
5 is good. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
5's fine. Yeah. Because that's easy to read. And if we go back to this version of it where it's shortened, we're seeing the top 2, but then I can see more and it's not long. 5
is fine. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And then volunteering, good. You have that. I'm very proud of you for having that filled out also. That's good. And so you're volunteering at the center where you took classes.
That's correct. Right.
Okay, good. So I was able to put that together easily, right? That's good. You don't want people figuring out you have the skills here. Maybe you and your classmates can endorse each other on the skills.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Right? Good idea.
You guys actually know how well each other is doing, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's a good one to ask your classmates. Hey, let's do that. And that'll create activity between your profiles also.
That's true. Okay. Yep. Great.
And then same thing with recommendations. If you guys feel comfortable giving each other recommendations, that could be a place to drum that up too.
Oh, cool. Okay.
You got your dean's list here. That's awesome. And you got it associated. That's perfect. Test scores, like you rocked it. So you're like, really evident. No, I think this is great. And you got the causes filled out. So you have these key sections all filled out. Let me just go back to the about. The about is just a list.
Right.
So this similar to we just made that headline, medical coder and training seeking hospital setting. You could write the about section to be like, tell me how you went from studying music to now being a medical coder and how they're similar or different. Right.
Well, they're both exact sciences. Yeah.
There you go. And see that exact sciences professional now applying my my education to medical coding.
I love it. That's pretty good. That's a good way to spin it. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's all about connecting the dots, right? And so if we can do that for the reader, then it makes it easier for them to connect the dots for where we can go and how to help us. So Barbara, good luck with your interview tomorrow.
Oh, thanks so much, Asha. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. Good luck.
Good luck, Barbara. You can do it.
Thank you.
Awesome. And we've got Koil up as well. So Koil, if you want to unmute, and we'll have you on with Asha.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hey, Koil, you want to do your elevator pitch?
Yeah. So I'm Koil. I'm a sociologist transitioning to UX research. I have 10 plus years of research experience. So basically that means I have earned my bread for 10 plus years by studying, explaining, and help explain human behavior. Now, what we do is impacted by who we are and the values and identities we bring in what we, doing what we do. So I'm from India, and I think that has allowed me, just from the very basic fact, to sample multiple different kinds of human behavior on the same issue. And it has also such happened that I've lived in 7 countries in 3 continents, and now I know how cultural specificities can impact and fuel human behavior. All of these experiences, I think, have gelled well with me in growing old as a researcher, because that has allowed me to gain a leverage in understanding people and also in deconstructing what appears to be commonsensical behavior.
Wow, very thorough. You've definitely given this one thought, and you're not old.
I'm in my mid-40s, so.
You're not old.
Yeah.
So I think you're tenured, experienced, right? There are these words that we can use to describe that we have these skills and we're ready to apply them in a different way. And so starting from the top, picture's great. I like that you're using the open to work feature. We actually missed that talking with Barbara. So folks who are looking for jobs, use the open to work feature, which shows up a couple of different ways. The badge, like Coyle has around her picture, and this box here, which actually tells me the titles that you're interested in, what type of workplaces, the cities. If you're looking at more than one city, you can list that here, full-time or contract roles. And so this is a really easy way for people to see that you're looking and they can help you. If you currently have a job, you can also turn in the open to work, but only show it to recruiters. So there are 2 ways to play with those settings. Okay, so we got you got a Berkeley. Your feature is good. So you've been posting things and pinning them here. Okay, that's great. And then, but you don't have an about section.
I do actually.
Oh, it's down here at the bottom. Oh, interesting. Okay, it's a different order. Okay, interesting. I didn't realize you could change that. Okay, so here your about's good. You got a ton of information here about things that you have studied, things that you're researching, tools that you've worked with. So like if anyone does a keyword search, like you should be coming up in their searches, right? And I love that, sociology to UX research, it makes total sense, right? The study of people.
I hope it does.
Yeah, and the fact that you have this international upbringing, and like these are complex languages. These are not easy languages that so that's very impressive. Shows that you're super smart. So I think this is really, really good. And then here I see you mentioned you took that photograph that's at the top and you have a link to your portfolio. That's really cool. It just shows that you're not just about studying, right? You have this interest in photography. And so here you've got your student, you're just finished. Congratulations. Yeah. And let's see, you got research fellow, writer, and then you have your studies, right?
Yeah.
And so you may want to decide, do you want to have the studies listed here, maybe the research, but is it redundant with what you have listed down here? Okay, because you don't need it in both places.
Yeah.
That's something to think about, okay? Yeah. And then if we go here, let's see. It's related to school, journalist too, wow. So you know how to tell the story once you understand it. I think that's important for UX research, because a lot of time you're analyzing so much data that you need to be able to present it, to different people within a company, right? And you're able to do that because you actually were a journalist, surveyor, researcher. Now, this is a ton of detail. This is good. I would just probably think about, some of these shorter ones, even though these are, the copywriter and the journalist were, less than 6 months. They're good, but maybe think about how you bring that into your about section as far as a skill. Okay.
Yeah.
Then licenses and certifications, perfect. These are current. Skills are current. Publications, good. So some of these, have you not published anything since 2018?
No.
Okay,
no.
So this is current as well.
Yeah.
Your languages, all 5 were listed there, and your causes. This is good. How can we add some more media to your experience section? Are there pictures of you maybe teaching or giving presentations, or even some of the UX work that you did? Are there projects that you could link here?
Yeah, I published something, one of my recent research on Medium.
Okay.
And
then link that here.
Yeah, that is there. Okay, in the about, that is there under the feature. This is the one.
Put it in both places.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that way, when people are here, because I just skipped over it, right? But if I saw it again here, I might want to click on it because I'm like, oh, let me look at this project that she worked on. Right? It's related to this work. Right. And so then it makes more sense. And it's totally fine to have it in both places. And so you just want to make sure, see how this thumbnail isn't appearing?
Yeah.
You want to make sure that
But-
it appears.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. This is good. You're really using the featured section well. And you have linked to your portfolio. Perfect. Yeah, no, I think this is, you have a great profile.
How essential it is to have a color photo, like you mentioned that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think here it's, your face is a little washed out,
Yeah.
right? So maybe even if it's one that's like, if it's black and white, let it be crisp, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but no, I think because you're a photographer, you know better
Yeah.
how to present, right? But I think especially because this one is so crisp, your headshot should be the same. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. What industries are you looking in? That's one thing that I don't see here.
It's UX research, mostly in social media.
Okay. I would say
And-
that, right?
Okay, I would just put that in there. Okay.
Yeah, just stick that in there. That's one thing that's missing because that'll help like the people who are looking, because UX and social media is huge right now. And so that'll help people. And you can, you know, even add here UX researcher for social media.
Okay.
And just own it, right? So I think that's awesome. Well, good luck.
Thank you. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Gabby,
Good
are we
luck,
going to
Coyle.
Jonathan
Thanks
next?
for coming. We are.
All right.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Jonathan, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Awesome. Let's hear your elevator pitch.
Okay. My name is, I actually go by Johnny. And
Johnny. Okay.
Yes. And I am an analyst, I should say. I have passions in working with numbers and working with data, just combing that and really translating data into something that we can all understand into English, which I know doesn't come so easily to a lot of people. So that's really where I see myself thriving, is just being more supportive and collaborative with my clients, with the work I do. And I definitely have I work right now in advertising analytics at an agency.
Okay.
Passions to work in entertainment and in music as well.
Okay, cool. So are you in an active search or a passive one?
I'm trying to be more active.
Okay. I notice you're still working. So sometimes people are trying not to be active when they're still working. But
Yeah,
all good.
exactly. You're
Okay,
open
so let's
for-
start from the top here. So your headshot's great, like crystal clear. I can see you, color, check. You could do a fun background photo,
Okay.
right? Maybe you presenting some data.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you probably do that a lot, right? So you throw that up there, and then we talked about how like this defaults to just being your title at your current company. So
Yeah.
you can definitely update this. And what I heard from your pitch was like, you like taking that data and making it actionable into insights, right?
Yep.
And so you could use that to like paint a really colorful picture as like, data oriented advisor to entertainment companies,
Nice.
right? Or something, where you want to go.
Yeah.
And that, am I lying? I don't know. Maybe you have some entertainment clients, right? Like
Want to
that
do
could
that,
be
but those aren't the clients I have now,
what you want, right? So future action, future data oriented advisor to entertainment clients, something
Love it.
like that, right? You can play with it,
Yeah.
but you got what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
And you can definitely make this like more interesting for people to click on. Then down here in your about section, demonstrated history of working. Tell me how long, right? Have you been doing this for a year, 5 years, 10 years, right? What does that mean? And then, get a little more into that, like the industries that you have expertise in, because especially if they're very technical industries or quant heavy industries, then it'll make more sense of how you've been able to progress in this experience and move up working with those types of customers, right? And you have it here.
Yeah, I do.
You can list it both places.
Okay.
Or you can pick and choose which ones you want to list, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, skilled. So for the second sentence, I bet this also is like the tools that you're familiar with. And I don't know if you have the tools listed down here. You can also list them above, right?
Yeah.
Because that'll be really key.
Be more specific.
Yeah, exactly. This whole about section could be like 2 or 3 times longer and it would be totally fine.
Okay.
Strong business development, master's arts and English. So is there anything from the degree that's relevant to the day-to-day of what you're doing now? Maybe did you learn like measuring and evaluation?
Right. Yeah. The analytics schools really skills, statistical testing, econometrics, that kind of stuff.
So then you can use that. And if I scroll back down to education, so you did back-to-back degrees, right?
Yeah.
And so you can say like your back-to-back degrees allowed you to, further specialize in data analytics and marketing, and that you're using it now in this marketing firm, and you want to continue doing that, helping bigger entertainment clients or whatever it is, right?
Love it.
Like you can
Yeah.
connect the dots for the reader. And then again, these are both are related to school, but you can definitely make it stronger. Looks like you're not very active on LinkedIn. Let's click here. Oh my gosh, is there no activity? Okay, here we go. Oh, look, you like today's event. That's good. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So you can get, a little more comfortable with LinkedIn by just liking a couple of posts here and there during the week. And then after you start, get comfortable with liking posts and leaving a comment, right? And then you start posting, maybe, you could start with like once a month and then once a week, and then, kind of build up from there. So you want to create activity because active profiles show up higher in searches. Okay. Now the experience we talked about, this level of detail is great, right? These bullets, they probably match your resume.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing you want to do, because you work in a business setting, is quantify as much of the work you can. So I know you have like the number of people you manage, like 3 and 2, but can you talk about like how you improved like the ROI for a customer? Right? Or grew a customer's business, or renewed customer's business, if that's in your area of responsibility, right? And adding those percentages, or like the hard, or multi-million-dollar campaigns, is that 2-3 million, or is that 20-30 million, right?
Okay.
That helps show you like you can work with big budgets, and you're able to like work with a lot of data. Let's see what else here. So this is good. And also showing this progression here, I think is really smart, because it shows that you are able to increase your responsibility over time, and that you've grown the team also during that time.
Thank you.
These previous experiences, so this one's actually with music. So we're not like totally being, like stretching the realms of reality here, saying you want to go work in music entertainment. You've done it.
Yeah.
And so so you can talk about that in your about section, right? Really enjoy working with media and entertainment, which, I did for 2 years, and now I'm ready to get back to that.
Okay.
Yep. And then the Brandeis stuff is probably less relevant.
Yeah.
So you could decide, like, do you even want to list this description here? Like, do you want to be, do you want to like get, public safety roles? Because that's what will happen, right? You'll come up in those searches because those keywords are on the page.
Yeah.
Marketing intern is good because that's related to what you want to do. Music director. Okay. Yeah. We've got like a steady theme here of music. And then this one, was this a volunteer?
That's fraternity stuff. So I could probably tone that down.
You could either tone it down or put it in the volunteer section.
Okay.
Okay. So that's another one. So let's scroll down to volunteer.
I don't know that I actually use that section.
Yeah, some people don't. They have it like you have. Yeah, so you don't have it. So you can actually flip on the volunteer section and move the volunteer activities down there.
Okay.
Okay. This is all fine. Licenses are good. They're current. Skills are good. Recommendations. Yeah, so I think just turn on that volunteer section and beef up that about section, and you'll be good to go for this job switch.
Thank you. You gave me a lot of good notes.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right.
Good luck, Johnny. Awesome. And now we've got Heather up.
All right. Let me just grab her LinkedIn profile.
And after Heather, we have, let me double check. We have one more person. So we still do have room if another person wants to sign up for a live LinkedIn review. If not, we'll head into questions.
Perfect. All right, Heather, do you want to tell me your pitch?
Hi, Asha, I'm Heather. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a UX designer. I bring over 10 years experience as an industrial designer. I lead diverse teams through the design process and help growing businesses translate goals into successful products.
Very nice. And Heather, as an industrial designer, are you working with physical products or digital products?
I'm transitioning to digital products. I've transitioned in the last few years. I have a lot of years experience with hard goods.
Okay, excellent. Right. So that small little distinction there helps the listener know, like, you're not a traditional industrial designer. you're moving into the next wave of digital.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So and you have
That's
it
the
here.
leap I'm
Actually.
trying. That's what I'm making. The leap I'm making.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And you have it right here in the first sentence of your about, which is perfect, right? You just want to make sure that it also comes out in your pitch.
Okay.
Okay. And so here, even your headline could say that, right? Product designer, look, if you're actively seeking a role, like looking for, the next, might be specific, right? Like if it's a technology company or social media company, financial fintech company, right? Like put that industry in there so people can connect.
I guess I definitely am challenged with committing or narrowing down to an industry.
Okay. Well, then use the about section and just list multiple industries.
Okay.
Okay. So if you feel like there's like, a bunch that you're interested in, just go ahead and list that because your skill set works for all of them.
Okay. Great.
Okay. But definitely, and then come back to this and think about how can you synthesize it in a way that gets people then to go from the headline to the about section.
Okay.
Okay. And I bet you have a portfolio.
I do. It's that first link.
It's this one here.
Yeah.
Okay. I would also put a link in the about section.
Okay.
Just again, like put it in multiple places so people go there.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Is this July 26th coming up or was it last year?
It's a million years ago.
Okay. So you maybe want to remove that.
It's maybe 5 years ago.
Or you put a picture of the event. If it's something,
Okay.
Did you speak there or did you have products there?
I did speak there.
So have a picture of you speaking at the event instead.
Okay.
And that would be much better, right? And then you can just cut and paste the description off of this event invite and put that with the picture of you speaking to explain what it was.
Okay.
Okay, cool. We got a good question for Barbara. What is a digital portfolio? Heather, do you want to tell us about your digital portfolio?
It's online. Well, specific now. There's digital portfolios for different needs. As an industrial designer, I showed my finished products for the most part, but for UX design, there's a very specific need of case studies of work that you've done to show your process.
I actually consider LinkedIn to be a digital portfolio because it's your professional digital portfolio.
Right.
Yeah. And so so as part of this professional digital portfolio, Heather showcasing her product design work with, both the physical goods she's created and the digital case studies that she just mentioned. Barbara, in your case, it would be, if you have done coding projects and you get recommendations, that's probably better for you in your digital portfolio, right? So it's going to be different for every person. So now coming here to experience, we got a good level of detail. This is great. So maybe you can add some numbers, right? Number of clients, what industries they're in. You could, if you have case studies on the Melanie Goodwin website, you could link those case studies here in the media section.
Okay.
Or if that particular client did a press release about the thing that they launched, you could link to that here.
I don't have that, but I could add the case studies.
Yeah, that's fine. Just some media there to make it interesting, right? Because the whole thing, especially when you're like visual designer, show me.
And
again, if it's, if you have it on your website and you'd rather have them go there, just link it again here.
Okay.
Yeah. And here you've got your teaching experience. Is awesome. You've been doing that for almost 8, 9, 10 years. You've got pictures here. So exactly how you have this here, you want this above.
I definitely get some confusion because of my teaching.
Why?
I've recently moved it to the bottom of my portfolio because I have questions asking me, do you want to be a teacher? Do you want to be a designer? And I want a full-time job.
Okay. So then you did the right thing by deprioritizing it, right?
At least, on my resume, I can do that. Right here, it's always going to be chronological. So.
Well, it doesn't have to be. You can drag these up and down.
Oh,
right?
You can?
You can, yeah, absolutely. And you could, if you really want to, you could move this into like the volunteer section. So, this one, on the side here, you can't see it on yours, but there'll be 3 little sliders and you just drag and drop the slider in between this section. So if you wanted to drag, professor all the way down to the bottom, you could under experience.
Do you think it could go under accomplishments?
It could go anywhere, right? So just play around with where, depending on what you want to have the information there, you could put
Right.
under project, volunteer, accomplishments. There's so many places on this page it could go.
But I did hear you say, oh, you've been there for a while. So it did
Yeah, I
give
liked
you
that
the
because it shows,
idea that,
because like here, this is 1 year, right? And that's 8 years. So it shows like you're not bouncing around.
okay, so there's value there.
Yeah, but the next one, you in 9 years working with your, for yourself also.
Yeah.
So that's okay, right? That also, and this one, see, this is a really good description. You have the brands included, you have the results for them with numbers, and you have the services provided. I actually really like this format that you have.
Okay.
Can you repeat that for the first experience?
Yeah. Obviously 1 year versus 9 years is a lot
Yeah.
different, but yes.
No, but this is so easy to read.
Okay.
Okay. And the way you have the media here is perfect. So I think you have the model of what needs to be done right here in your profile.
Okay.
All right. And then this is great. This is, less than a year. So 3 bullets is fine. You're adjunct in a different university. So you could even combine these if you wanted to. These adjunct roles.
Yeah.
Think about it.
People get impressed by the second one. So that's why
This
I
one?
don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Then
they
don't,
get
right?
impressed with that school.
Okay. Let's see, you got brand designer roles, design manager. And so with these earlier roles, because now we're going like more than 10 years back, you have to
Right.
think about like, is this relevant to what you want to do next? If it's
Right.
not, then, remove this. Otherwise, they're going to start finding you for like retail opportunities in the search.
Yeah.
Right. And same thing with these other ones. Like just think about,
Trust me, they don't.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
don't find me for that.
All right.
Hence the career change.
Yeah. But that's okay.
So this could go away.
Yeah, the descriptions could go away, right? You could leave that you
Okay.
worked here and you progressed in these roles. I think that's really nice, right? In each of these positions, each of these companies you progressed, but you don't need the detail because it's not relevant.
Okay.
The skills are fine, right? Because the skills make sense for what you want to do next.
Okay.
But the description, yeah, could definitely be removed. And then let's see if we keep scrolling down. We have school, perfect. Georgia Tech, well-recognized school, so that's awesome. Licenses are all current with the LinkedIn Learning. Cool. Awesome. So you are volunteering, and that's all active as well. This is good. What you may want to do is go and check if the court system or the artist building communities now has a page on LinkedIn.
They don't. I even volunteered to make it for the court system.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So that would just one thing is like over time, like some people may add them and then you want that logo to show up, right?
Right.
But this is fine. Like it just shows that you're you're really active in your community. Like this 4.5 years with the court system and still current is good. You may want to actually move this one up because these ended, right? So
Yeah.
it'd be tie and then the court system and then everything else, based on the dates they ended.
Okay.
You have a really good profile. And I think especially because the design work, you have a lot of like rich visual images that you can use to show people.
So yeah, I definitely can take advantage of the headline more.
Yeah.
And my other, I've been really focused on UX design because that is the most in demand. But I worry about like if I'm passing up other roles that I'm appropriate for, if I have it so targeted and then I send a resume for a visual design job or a digital content design job, if they come to my LinkedIn and it's so UX, is that going to be a problem?
Well, this is where like you use like sections like the about to your advantage. Right?
Okay.
Because you can say like, because you have, this is where you don't shy away from the amount of experience you have. Right.
Okay.
And you can say like, I have, 20 years experience or whatever it is, and I'm capable of doing X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
Right. My interests are with, 1, 2, 3 industries, but I'm open to the opportunities that are available.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then just like we were looking at the previous profile, you can turn on that open to work.
Oh, you think I've been told not to, but you feel that it's good?
Yeah, if you don't want to put the circle, like the badge on your picture,
Yeah.
you don't need to. But the other part at the bottom where it says open to work and it has the exact titles, the city, the type of roles, that you can have that turned on just to recruiters.
That is done. That I have done.
And I'm not a recruiter, which is I don't see it. Okay, so then you're good there. Awesome, Heather. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Is it Ife?
Yes,
All right.
Ifetayo. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Nice to meet you. Do you want to share your pitch with us? Tell us what you're doing.
Yes, my name is Ifetayo. I am a human resource professional with over 8 years of progressive experience.
Nice.
I also have transferable skills from project management and Scrum. Over my career years, I have helped organizations turn on the right searchlight in getting perfect round pegs for their round holes. In
Square
order
pegs.
for them to, I just didn't want to use square pegs. I wanted to use something different. Okay, in order to achieve their corporate goals. I recently moved countries. I'm presently in Canada.
Okay.
While I'm still working remotely for my organization, I'm looking forward to getting opportunities to work here in consulting or government parastatals or any opportunities that are available. Back in Nigeria, I had the volunteer opportunities. It's not everything I have there.
Okay.
I only put up one.
Okay.
And after I landed, I started searching for opportunities to work with nonprofit organizations here for
nice.
volunteering.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. And that's actually a feature on LinkedIn. You can say you're open to volunteering these causes. Oh, you have it filled out. Perfect. Okay, let's start from the top. Great photo, great background photo.
Thank you.
Those are awesome. Human resources professional, and then you had all the acronyms there. I know all HR professionals love their acronyms. I would say take that and put that in the about section.
Okay.
Okay. And use this real estate to really say you're actively looking, right? And your current company knows you want to find a job in Canada, right?
Okay.
So there's no issue in being really public about searching here. So let's think about a catchy headline for you. But it sounded like you didn't want to stay in HR. You want to go towards consulting.
No, I love HR. I'm
Okay.
passionate about HR.
Okay.
I sleep and wake HR. So
well, there we go. I think you just got it right there. Passionate HR professional. And I think you can use HR instead of human resources. That's a common, or you could say talent. I mean, there's so many new words for it, right?
Yeah.
So passionate HR professional seeking full-time role. And I'm trying to figure out how to work in that you're now in Canada and I don't know Canada that well besides Toronto and Montreal, the East Coast side. I believe you're on the West Coast, right?
I'm in Saskatoon right now.
Okay. Is there a specific industry that's really big there?
Well, government.
Government.
I
Okay.
know of because I'm still new, so I'm still researching.
Yeah.
But I know government, yes.
Okay.
Right,
and do you want to work for the government or do you want private sector?
I don't mind government.
Okay.
Like I said, government or consulting or any opportunity that is available, actually.
Yeah. So really just passionate HR professional seeking next role.
Okay.
Simple, right?
Seeking what?
A seeking next role.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. And I think it's super simple. I like that you're a project manager because it tells me you're very organized. Right? I'm not that's a good observation, right? And I think you probably have that here in your about section, or you can add that here, right? You're able to bring that through. So let's see. Agile. So you're definitely using the tech language. I mean, you may want to narrow in, I used to work in government technology, and you may want to look for HR roles in government tech, right? Whether it's at the local or federal level.
I have a struggle though, and that is how to blend my Scrum and my PM to HR. It's a struggle
Right.
for me, I won't lie to you.
Yeah, because it's
I really
not
look forward
typical.
to, yes, it
But
is not.
if you were to
So
go into if you were to go into consulting, they would love that.
okay.
Right? So these the big four, especially like Deloitte, Accenture, they have human capital practices.
Mm,
And in
okay.
those human capital practices, they're working on projects, typically with government and big companies, on
Yes.
implementing new HR systems. Like that could be something that's really interesting, where you get to use both your HR and your tech.
Okay.
So, that could be something to look into, not just government, but potentially a consulting role with the big four.
Hmm.
Okay. And sounds like, looks like here
Can I state that there?
yeah, absolutely. You can put whatever you want here. That's the beauty of it. Right? So the more
Okay.
information you put here and somebody comes and lands in your profile, then they're like, okay, this is the type of role she's looking for. I have that role. Let me contact her.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm reading this. It looks like you've done full employee life cycle in companies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's great. And then so you've done training, onboarding. Yeah, I think that's good. So yeah, I think to add like what you're looking for as far as like how you now want to apply your HR and project management skills,
Yes.
in government, in consulting, you're happy to work for like, in a company in your province or remote.
Yes.
All of that can be in the about section.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
How long can the about section,
It could be like 3
how long
times
can
longer.
it be?
I mean, it could,
Really?
what you have,
And
yeah, really. Because the
people
thing
won't
is,
be bored?
it's just on the screen, right? And they're easy, like it's quick to read.
Hmm.
I saw a question in the chat about, compared to the resume. We know the resume is like 7 seconds, right? They look at it and then
Yeah.
they move on. But the LinkedIn, you're just scrolling up and down. Like you actually, I don't know, you take in more information when it's on the screen. So
Okay.
I think just, and it's all about testing, right? So if you add more information and you feel like it's not working, you could take it out.
Okay.
No one will know, right?
No.
That's the thing. You could change your LinkedIn profile every day and nobody would know.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
you want to definitely add more content to show up in more searches. And so already I'm looking at this first experience section, like your bullets are good, right? Staff strength increased by 75% within 3 years and attrition reduced to 1%. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Everybody would want that. Right? So this is
Yeah.
really good. Project lead. And so this was is this an HR role?
Is a project management role that I implemented a lot of HR activities. So what I did was I downplayed my project management.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt, if I might be wrong, but I felt if as an HR professional, you're looking for someone in HR, you won't want to see a whole lot of project management stuff. So I downplayed.
HR people are narrow-minded. I was an HR person once, so I was not a narrow-minded HR person, but I'm going to say that. On the other hand, though, the consulting firms would like that. So you may want just to have like 2 versions of your resume.
Okay.
Project management heavy resume with all the acronyms and all, the agile language, and then an HR version of your resume. And then if you want to keep LinkedIn, because there's a lot of work to do this, with the HR focus, that's fine. But then you can apply to these consulting roles with the PM resume and see what happens.
Okay.
All right. So here, this is good. You got percentages, Keystone Bank. So you did a lot in like different sectors also.
Oh, yeah. I worked as a branch business manager. I worked as a salesperson. So.
Okay. No, that's good. But you could say like, like, I don't know, I'm making it up, but like, really enjoyed interacting with customers and employees in management roles, transitioned to HR to do more work with employees.
Okay.
Because just to connect the dots, like how did you go from being a branch, officer to HR professional, right?
HR, yeah.
No,
I just really, really love HR. That's why I just settled on it.
And that's why you're going to make your headline passionate HR professional. Okay, so your education's good. It's in order. Volunteering. So you have this, but you said you're looking for things in Canada, which is, you can add that to your about section also, right? Like newly moved to Canada, looking for the full-time opportunity and open to volunteer opportunities in XYZ.
Okay.
So it really shows that you're like, I want to like immerse myself in this life, right?
Yeah.
And then your certifications are current. That's awesome. Like getting a PMP is no joke. So that's awesome. Skills, recommendations. Yeah, no, you got all the right sections filled out. You got courses here. Perfect. A lot of courses. Projects. Good. And you got awards and languages. No, you got everything filled out. So this is good. I think really focus on that, the about section, and then getting your resume, 2 versions of it. And I think you'll be much better.
Okay. Beautiful.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course.
Thank you.
All right. Gabby, anybody else?
We got our last person. Nakia,
Okay.
you are up. And then we'll have some time for questions.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thanks for this, by the way. So I'll go over so far what I have for my pitch.
Okay. Sounds good.
Currently, I'm working as a data processor with Capsule Pharmacy, and I'm
Okay.
seeking to
Oh.
pivot into data analytics.
Very cool.
So I sought out my current role because I do have a passion for healthcare. However, from my current role, I've gained an increased interest in data mining and organization. So currently, I'm seeking a career as a healthcare analyst in a medical facility, whether it be radiology or in a hospital, where I can utilize the skills I gained from the current program that I'm taking with Google for data analytics certification, as well as lending a helping hand to optimize healing for as many people as possible.
Aw, that was so nice.
Thank you.
No, it really was awesome. So your Google certification is not listed here.
I wasn't sure if I should put it in because I'm not going to complete it until next month.
That's okay. You
Oh.
can put it with that date, with July 2022 on here.
Okay.
All right. So that's totally fine. You may not be able to like link the credential like you have this one, but you can still put like, it's going to be done then, and then come back and update it.
Okay.
All right. All right. Let's start from the top. Is it NECA?
Yeah, well, it's 2 pronunciations. Usually it's a West African name, so West African people pronounce it Neka.
Okay.
But Anika or Neka is fine.
Okay. It's great. No, yeah, I think your photo's great. The picture's great, like very New York, right? But it's a
Thank
beautiful picture of the skyline. And so here, data processor is currently what you're doing, right? That's what I'm seeing here in experience. So you want to move this data analyst up.
Okay.
Right. So I think like data analyst, and are you like open about the job search, or are you like in stealth mode?
Half and half, I guess.
Okay. No, that's okay. Right. Like data analyst, because I loved how you just did your pitch, right? So how do you bring that passion through in the headline, right? So like, is it like empathetic data analyst, improving healthcare settings? Something like that, right? Which could be what you're doing now, and it could be what you want to do next.
Right.
But that's how you write it in a way that you want to go. So we'll do a small sidetrack. I went to Midwood for a year, so I was right next door to you in Brooklyn College. I know exactly where that was. And looking at this now, so you don't have capsule appearing up here. Did you do that on purpose?
Wasn't sure how to.
There's got to be, you probably unchecked something that says like show current experience in this headline section.
Oh, okay.
So you want to just go back and check it, okay? Because then it shows that you're currently working.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now your about section definitely could be longer, right? Let's see, passion for healthcare industry. And I think that what you just said, like, come back, Gabby will send the recording to everybody after the webinar. Come back and like write down that exact pitch and put that in here.
Okay.
Okay. Because I think it really just I was like, oh, like that's exactly what you want the person reading it to have, that reaction. Especially if you want to go work in a hospital setting, right? And let's see, skilled in database navigation, teamwork, terminology data. Again, if it's data analyst, like maybe be a little more descriptive on the type of analysis work that you're doing, what you're learning in your certificate course, and how you want to apply that in a hospital setting.
Oh,
Right. And we expect everyone now to know Word and Excel. So you don't need to list it here.
okay.
Okay. And then let's see, strong. So it looks like you did a double major, if I'm reading this correctly, or strong professional major.
Let me see.
Experience. Oh no, this is your major in school. So again, the school and the major are listed down in the education section. You don't need to repeat it unless there's something specific about the coursework that you want to highlight.
Okay.
Right? Like, did you start taking classes in these areas that now are like, and then you got work experience in these areas that now make you want to go do the next thing. That's more interesting to the reader, right? And so here, oh, you have another course from Coursera. You could also list this in the certificate section.
Yeah, this is a part of the DA course I'm currently in.
Oh, it's the one you're currently in. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's fine. So you can leave that there and then add it also to the certificate section.
Oh.
Okay, and so now coming to your current experiences. So everybody else, what was interesting, everybody else had, lines here, right? Bullets explaining what they wanted. If your resume is up to date, you can just take those same bullets and list them here.
Okay.
If it's not up to date and you need to update it, then just, take a couple minutes and just think about, like, how can I summarize what I did in one sentence? Add it into the experience section for each one of these. Okay, because again, the more words you add, the more times you'll come up in search.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool. And so you did physical PT, then patient care. So you definitely have that, like, you like interacting with the patients. This isn't like a sparse stretched idea that that you want to go do this now. Like Capsule was the first time you're not working with patients. Okay, so just say you want to return to an environment where you're where you can see the impact of your work with the patients, because that connects the dots.
Okay.
And this is good. So you have your school, you have that you're a part of student life. Perfect. You've got your one certificate, but you're going to add the second one. You've got skills, and just the same thing like I was recommending earlier, like if you and your classmates want to endorse each other on the skills, that'll create some activity on your profile, right? And are we missing any sections? About experience, education, accomplishments, and headline. No, we covered them all. Do you have any questions?
As far as like quantifying, which I've heard a lot, is like,
yes,
as far as my resume, how can I incorporate that into my LinkedIn profile?
So here it may be, for physical therapy, it could be like, treated X number of patients on a weekly basis, something like that. To, with the data processing, you're probably, crunching like big files of data, right? And like with that data, what then happens? Is some other process improving? Are more customers getting served, right? That's how you can quantify the impact.
Okay.
So think about the downstream effect of the data. And Capsule's done amazing. I actually know the CEO from a long time ago, the founder. And like, the way that the company has grown organically in New York and now across the country, like think about what you've been doing for the last year there and how you've helped fuel that growth. And then what you can do is, I know there are tons of news articles about them. You can put some of that in the media here.
Okay.
Right? Like maybe there's an initiative that you worked on, and I'll make it up, right? Maybe expanding to the West Coast, right? And you did all the research and you did the data crunching of how you should go into the West Coast with these particular partners. And that partnership actually happened. You could put the press release of that partnership in the media section.
Okay.
Right? You can get creative with it. I know the other ones are a little harder, right? Because you're actually dealing like patient care, but maybe you could find an article about RadNet or JAG1 that explains like maybe how they do patient care differently from other organizations. And that's what you put in the media section. Because then it shows like that's the type of culture you're working in. And that's what you bring to the next place.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck finishing your course.
Thanks.
All right. Gabby, should we go to Q&A?
Let's do it. We had a few questions in the chat, and then we're actually almost at time, which is wild.
Okay. Yeah, that's wild.
So we'll start with the first one here from Barbara. And you mentioned this a little bit too, around employers and their time spent looking at LinkedIn versus resumes. How much time would you expect somebody to spend looking at a LinkedIn profile?
So yeah, I think I touched on a little bit, like I think people spend time on LinkedIn profiles. I think LinkedIn profiles, especially when you start adding media in there, become just an interesting read. And when you're so used to just scrolling up and down, you don't mind how much you're scrolling up and down. So, I know the whole thing about resumes, like people, they look at the page and then they put it aside, but I think they do take time looking at the LinkedIn profile. So it's worth it for you to spend the time on it, adding the content.
Absolutely. There was also another question around how far back, and I think this kind of came up with Johnny's LinkedIn too, of like how far back do you want to list your experiences?
You want to make sure, there's this whole thing about gaps, right? So you want to be able to show, like, you went from, if you did education and then you started in the workforce, like you can show everything, but you don't need to show the detail for everything. And that's what I was getting to, right? Especially like with Heather's example, like she started in retail, but the retail experience doesn't make sense for where she wants to go in digital. So she could leave that there to show she's like, I've got tons of experience in retail and design, but take out those bullets because they're not relevant. And so I think it's all about how you play with the content to describe what you did to help you to where you want to go.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense, right? Just trying to figure out what's relevant and still being able to keep all the options there.
And I'll give the example, like on my resume, I actually removed 2 experiences because they were, I think, a year or less, and I needed the room on my resume, but I have them on my LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn, you can see my career path without having any of those gaps, but my resume will appear like it has gaps on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Perfect. And let's see, we did have some questions come in pre-submitted from the chat, but wanted to give priority to anyone else that has any questions here live. We'll probably take 1 or 2 more, and then we'll head into our reminders before you go. So actually, let's do the reminders now, and then we'll finish off with the questions.
All right.
Perfect. So this one, please take our survey. If I could send gifts in this chat, I would, of like a desperate plea, just because it helps us. We'd love to know what's working, how you all hear about us, and what we can be doing better. If we should do more of these sessions, or less, hopefully not less, but hey, if you have that feedback, let us know.
Yeah, we love reading the surveys. I read every single response.
Yeah, exactly. And it means a lot to us too. It also has all the bookmarked links that we have sent to you. So it's got a link to Asha's book. It's got a link to that $5 discount code, which you could still use. And I will still put in the chat because we still have some remaining. And it could be yours.
Yeah. So making LinkedIn work for you.
Exactly. And then, that's really what this is about, right, Asha? I think what you're saying about your elevator pitch and making this make sense, you're trying to make it easy for the recruiter on the other side to see your profile and like actively reach out to you because they know what you want. You're doing that like one step.
One last step, and you want to make sure it's authentic, right? So everyone who gave a pitch, there was something in the pitch that wasn't represented on the profile. And you want to have that consistency, right? Because that helps people understand, like, okay, this is who this person is, and this is what they want to do, and I want to help them, right? And that's all you want.
Absolutely. And again, if you want to really dig deeper into any of these sessions with one of our advisors, imagine how much you can get done in the 45-minute session just dedicated to you, whether it's a LinkedIn revision or a resume review, right? It's really helpful to have somebody to talk through this process with you. And our goal here is to really make sure that this is accessible to you. So please do reach out if you have any questions, if you want an advisor recommendation. We're happy to give one based on the industry or what you are looking for.
Perfect.
Awesome. And I don't see any other questions coming in from the chat. Oh, I guess I do see one about the discount code. It will automatically be applied at checkout if you use the link. It might not show up on mobile, but yeah, so once you're at the checkout page, you should see the -$5 on the item. And if you're still having trouble, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm happy to help you out with it. Cool. Nice. Let's see. Trying to see if we can pull one of our good final words, or actually, I guess we could just wrap it up too of any final words of wisdom, Asha, from you for job seekers out there who are looking to head into the workforce.
So I want to thank, the folks that came, on to camera and shared their LinkedIn profiles with us. The 6 of you had amazing profiles, and you had a wide range of profiles. So I hope the other people that were listening today got a lot from the feedback that was shared and can apply the recommendations to your own profiles so that you can find that career that you really love. And, again, I think a lot of it comes down to the storytelling, and that's, in your pitch, in your LinkedIn, on your resume. And it's a lot about like just understanding what you've done and where you want to go. I think I've said where you want to go like 100 times in the last hour and a half.
But it makes
all
sense.
about, it's all about that future looking, like what's the next version of you and how are you going to get there? And so just remember, every interaction you have, if you have that pitch ready to go, you're helping the other person understand how they can help you, because you're being specific and you're being memorable when you deliver that pitch. And so I wish all of you the best of luck in finding your jobs. And when you have, enjoy the summer, and, give us your feedback on the survey. Really appreciate it.
Yes, please do. Thank you so much for everybody for joining. I'm going to stop the recording now, and please tell your friends about Resmrkt, about what we do. We're really happy to be able to share these services with you and hope you can continue to spread the word as well. All right. Thanks, everyone.